The leaders of Britain, Canada and France have threatened sanctions against Israel if it doesn't halt a renewed military offensive in Gaza and lift restrictions on humanitarian aid. The news follows the arrival of a limited amount of aid trucks in Gaza after nearly 3 months of an Israeli blockade on food, medicine and other essential supplies. The three Western nations issued a joint statement calling the aid deliveries wholly inadequate and warned of concrete actions against Israel if it continues its latest military operations in Gaza.
It's a really serious, unacceptable, intolerable situation, and that's why we are working intensely to coordinate with other leaders how we respond to this, because it is intolerable, it is unacceptable, and we will continue to work in that way.
In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel would defend itself by just means until achieving total victory. He reiterated Israel's conditions for peace, which include the release of all remaining hostages and the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip.
UK, France and Canada threaten action as Israel vows to take over Gaza. Several of Israel's key allies promised to take concrete action should Israel not halt its offensive and allow humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. 3 of Israel's allies, Britain, France and Canada, have issued a joint statement attacking Israel's expansion of military action in the Gaza Strip. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed that Israel will take control of the Strip, an escalation of the conflict his allies called egregious. The conditions in Gaza were intolerable, the allies said, as they called on the Israeli leader to immediately allow humanitarian aid to enter Gaza. No aid has been allowed into Gaza since 2nd March, a situation aid groups, including the United Nations, have condemned. On Sunday, Netanyahu said Israel would allow a basic amount of food to enter the enclave following the 11-week pause. Far-right members of his own cabinet criticized the decision to allow even a trickle of aid into Gaza. Netanyahu shared a video on social media explaining that he was influenced by international pressure to allow humanitarian supplies into the territory. This was wholly inadequate, the 3 leaders said. The denial of essential humanitarian assistance to the civilian population is unacceptable and risks breaching international humanitarian law. The 3 allied governments threatened concrete action, including targeted sanctions, if Israel does not end its offensive and allow aid back into the Strip. Netanyahu responded to the message, insisting that Israel would continue its actions until total victory was achieved. The leaders in London, Ottawa, and Paris are offering a huge prize for the genocidal attack on Israel on October 7th while inviting more such atrocities, he said. He called on all European leaders to follow Trump's vision for ending the conflict between Israel and Hamas. He acknowledged that Israel's greatest friends in the world. US President Donald Trump voiced criticism over the hunger crisis in the enclave during a visit to the region, which did not include a stop in Israel. A wave of airstrikes killed hundreds over the weekend in the territory, according to Gaza's health ministry, which does not distinguish between civilians and combatants. The fighting is intense and we are making progress. We will take control of all the territory of the Strip, Netanyahu announced in a video posted on Telegram on Monday. The statement from the UK, France and Canada reiterated support for a ceasefire and a 2-state solution, whereby a Palestinian state would exist alongside Israel. The 3 nations also said they opposed any attempt to expand settlements in the West Bank, which they called illegal. In a separate letter issued on Monday, the foreign ministries of Germany, Italy, Japan, and 18 other countries called for Israel to fully reopen humanitarian aid delivery to Gaza by the United Nations and other NGOs.